Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video tutorial, I am going to go over Elementor's global colors and fonts system. Now this system is actually very powerful. Once you understand what it does and how to use it, it'll save you a ton of time when it comes to updating colors and fonts throughout your entire website in just a couple of clicks. So rather than going into every element or widget and styling it individually, like one by one, this system is going to let you update all of your colors and fonts with just a couple of clicks. So as you can see here, this is a demo website that I've put together. It's not meant to look pretty at all. This is just for a visual reference so you can see what I'm doing and how the global system works with Elementor. So the first thing we need to do is head over to the WordPress dashboard, go to Elementor, and go to editor and then settings. If you're on an older version of Elementor, it'll just be Elementor and then settings. So since I'm on the newer version, it'll be editor and then settings. And then in here on the general tab, you'll want to make sure disable default colors and disable default fonts. You want to make sure that both of these boxes are checked off. This way Elementor will inherit the colors and fonts from our WordPress theme or from the global settings that we're going to get to here in just a second. Now for this demo for this tutorial for my demo site, I am using the Hello theme, and I do recommend using that theme if you are building your site out with Elementor. Alright, so save our changes, and I'm going to go back to my demo site and come up here and click edit with Elementor. And then up here at the top left corner, we're going to click here where it's on this hamburger icon. So we're going to click on that and go to site settings. And then in site settings, you'll see design system and theme style. So we're going to come over here where it says global colors. We're going to click on that. And this is where we're going to set up all the global colors that we're going to be using for our entire website. So any colors that you plan on using over and over, they should be set up here as global colors. So any colors that represent your brand, your company, your organization, or if you're building for a client, whatever their colors are, this is where you're going to set up all your colors. Think of these as presets, so you can easily select from these colors later as you're building out your site. So just click on each one and choose a color that you want. You can also come over here and click on the color and use the color picker as well on this left panel. Now you can also rename all of the colors to whatever you want. So it doesn't really matter what you call them. These are just labels for your reference. So whatever you want to label them as is totally fine. I tend to leave these set at their default values, but down here where it says custom colors, we can add in any additional custom colors that we want to add for our site. So we can click add color, rename it to what you want, and then just, pick a color that you want to use. All right. And then once you're done with that, just click save changes. You can come up here where it says show global settings and toggle this the other way. And this will show you a live preview of your website. So say if we come over here and we change the primary color to blue, for example, you can see any place where the primary color is being used, it will automatically update. And it's not just updating this one page, but it's basically updating all pages across your entire website wherever that primary color is being used. And the same would be true with the secondary and the text and the accent colors as well. Wherever these colors are being used or your custom colors are being used, it will update throughout your entire website. So I'll just set this back to green for now. And then we'll come down here and click save changes. We'll go back. And now we'll take a look at global fonts. Now here in global fonts, this is where you're going to set up all the fonts and styles that you plan on using over and over as you build out your site. Now to make things easier, what I recommend doing is toggling this back the other way. And then come up here, you may have to come up here and just click on where it says fonts. And this is going to show you all of your global fonts in here. So all you got to do is just click on each one and you can adjust the size, the font name, whatever you want. You can set up all your styles right in here. So I've already got my system fonts set up the way that I want them. So we'll leave these just the way they are, but just click on each one and you'll be able to style it right here on the left panel. Okay. And then any additional custom fonts or styles that you want to set up, you can set them up right in here. Just click add style give it a name. All of these are renamable, just like the colors. You can call them whatever you want, right? And then just click on the pencil, set up the styling with whatever styles you want, and then when you're done, click Save Changes. Now you can see here in custom fonts, I've already added several different custom fonts. I've added an eyebrow heading. So if I click the pencil icon, you can see that this eyebrow heading, that's what I'm calling it, is eyebrow heading. You can see like I'm using a font called Montserrat. I got it set at 20 pixels. So the eyebrow heading, just so you can see here, like this text right here that appears above the heading, this is what I'm referring to as an eyebrow heading, okay? So wherever, if I make any changes back here to the eyebrow heading, like if I make it smaller and maybe give it more spacing, and I come back over here and refresh, you can see how the update takes place on all areas of the website where that eyebrow heading styling is being used. All right, and then here for H1, H2, like these are your heading tags. So I've set up specific styles that I want to use for all the heading tags. So like if I click here on H1, you can see I'm using Pathway Extreme for the font, and the size is 40 pixels. And then for H2, same thing, just a different font size, 32. And as I go to H3, H4, H5, the font size gets smaller, but I keep the font name the same. So I'm not going to explain the hierarchy behind heading tags. That'll be for a different video. But typically, your H1 tag is usually going to be the largest because it's your main heading. All right, so once we're done here, just save your changes, and then we'll go back. And now we'll take a look at typography. Okay, so now for typography, this is where we're going to basically connect all of our global colors and fonts that we just set up. So where it says body text color, whatever you specify here for body text color will update the text color throughout your entire website. So if I change the text color to red, all of the text on this website, and not just this page, but all pages, will be red, just as you see here. Now what I'm going to do is click on the globe, and I'm going to choose one of my global colors. So for the text color, we'll choose our text global color. So now you can see all the text is black, and it's using our global color that we set up earlier. And you can tell that it's using one of our global colors because anytime this globe is lit up in purple, it's indicating that one of our global colors is active. So for text color, we'll leave it set to our text global color. And then for typography, same thing. I'm going to click the globe, and I'm going to choose one of our preset global fonts. So I'll just choose the text global font. And as you can see, our font has updated on the entire website. So, okay, so we're done up here. Now we'll come down here and we'll take a look at link. Link is going to be the link color of any links that are on your website. So really the only link that we have on this particular page is this logo link up here, because it links to our homepage. So if I come over here and I change the link color to blue, as you can see, the link color is automatically updating. If you don't specify a link color, then it'll just use whatever the color or the styling is from your WordPress theme. In this case, I'm using the Hello Elementor theme, so it's just pulling in its default coloring. So we'll just choose our link color to be the secondary color. I think that looks fine. And then for typography, we'll use the text global font for our link. So I think that looks good. So we'll leave that just like that. And then down here for H1, H2, H3, and all the way down to H6, you can see we don't have any styling set up here. So we'll go ahead and set up our styling now. So for the colors, all of our heading tags, we'll go ahead and just use the secondary color. So as I choose secondary, you can see how the H1 tags are updating any place where an H1 tag is being used. And we have one here and one up here. And then for H2, same thing. I'm going to change it to our secondary color, and you can see how that's updating here. H3, I'm going to use the secondary color. You can see how that's updating as well. H4, H5, and H6. So now you can see all of our heading tags are using the secondary color, which is blue. All right, so we're done here on the colors. Now for the typography for H1, H2, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to click the globe for H1, and I'm going to choose our heading 1. So we're going to use the heading 1 style that we set up in global fonts for our H1 tags. And same thing with H2. I'm going to choose heading 2. For H3, I'm going to choose heading 3. For H4, I'm going to choose heading 4. For H5, I'll choose heading 5. And then for H6, I will choose heading 6. And then we'll click Save Changes. So now all of our heading tags are using the typography settings that we set up earlier in global fonts. Okay, so we'll come up here and click back. Now we'll go over to buttons. Here in buttons, this is just going to allow you to style your buttons however you want. So right now the button styling is using this grayish color. It's just a default color that's being inherited most likely from our theme. So what we'll do here, we'll come over here where it says color and we'll click the globe and we'll choose one of our colors. Now as you can see, it's not showing all of our colors here. Sometimes this panel and this preview pane does not update accurately. So when this happens and things don't look right back here, just refresh the browser and it will update or refresh the entire user interface, and then things will start working as they should. So we'll go back to buttons, click the globe, and now we can see all of our colors. So we'll choose our accent color for our button background color. And if you notice, the text color of the button is blue. And the reason for that is because it's automatically pulling in the link color that we just set up earlier under typography. So if you want the button text color to have its own specific color, we would set it right here where it says text color. Because buttons are technically a link, so that's why it's picking up the link color. So we'll set it to white. So now you can see the globe is lit up for text color and the background color. So now our button has its own styling. Right here, we can also set up our hover style right here. I've got it set to blue, but we can set it to green or whatever other color you want to set it to. So maybe we want to go something like this. That looks good. All right. And then we'll come over here and up here, typography. This is going to be the font styling of our button. So if we click here on the globe, we can choose any one of our preset fonts for the button. So we'll choose text, or actually we'll choose accent. And now you can see how the button font face has updated. All right, so we'll click Save Changes here. We'll go back and we'll X this out here, and this will take us right back into the Elementor page builder. So now that we're back in the builder, a couple things that I want to point out. So if you're building out your site and you're noticing that certain elements on your page is not being updated by the settings that you set up in global settings, it's either something to do with the theme that you're using, because your theme could override Elementor's global settings, or a lot of times the most common thing is that you are pre-styling or you're overriding the styling of a particular widget. So for example, if we look at this heading right here, if I click here on the pencil icon and go to the content tab, you see it's set to H1. If I change it to H2, H3, H4, notice how the styling is automatically being picked up based on the styles that we set up earlier. Well, say if I come over here to the Style tab and I want to have this heading right here to use one of our predefined styles like the primary font that we set up earlier. And if I come over here, I can still change it to H2 or H3 for SEO purposes, but the styling will not change because we are overriding the styling here. So anything you do on the Styles tab will override your global settings. Like in other words, if you come over here on this pencil icon and just manually style it here, just like this, this is also overriding these heading tags. So this is not going to update unless you put this back at default. So what you would do, I'll just switch this back to H1. And then what we'll do is we will set this heading tag back to default. So go to the Style tab, click the pencil, and then click this little arrow right here where it says back to default. This will put everything right back to default. And if you had a color picked out as well, you would just click the color and then clear it. And this will put everything right back at default, and now it'll pick up or inherit whatever you set up in your global settings. All right, and just before we wrap up, there's one really important thing that I want to make sure that I emphasize. anytime you're going to update colors and fonts for your website, you're always going to do that back in site settings. Think of that as your centralized dashboard that controls all the colors and all the fonts for your entire website. But when you're actually building out your pages in Elementor, it's very important to make sure that you're selecting your global colors and fonts. Otherwise, when you make changes in site settings, if you're not selecting your global colors and fonts, then those elements or widgets aren't going to be updated. For example, if we add a container to this website here, and I go to this set of background color on this container, rather than coming in here and just choosing any random background color, it's important to actually use the globe instead. Select the globe and choose one of your predefined global colors, because this way when you update any of these global colors later, all areas of your website that is using any of these global colors are being updated. If you just choose a random color here and you're not using any of your global colors, this is basically hard-coded. So this section or this color will never change because it's not using any of your global styling. So I'm gonna choose the primary color as the background color, and then for this container here, I'm gonna drop in a text editor, and this is gonna be like an eyebrow heading. So I'm gonna just put in here something like our company. Notice I typed it all lowercase, by the way. Now, if I go to the Style tab for typography, instead of using the pencil, which we're used to using and manually styling it, choosing the font, the size, the weight, we're just going to go to the globe and we're going to choose one of our predefined styles. So I'm going to use eyebrow heading, and notice there we have it. There's our eyebrow heading with the proper spacing. It goes to capital letters, and now I can drag in a heading right below it. I can set it to H1, H2. It's automatically pulling in the styling that we've set up earlier. Or maybe I want to have a different kind of style in this for this heading. I can just go to the Style tab, go to the globe, and choose one of my predefined styles that I have set up in here. Like I can use secondary. And then I can add a text editor down here. And then I can add a button right below that. And as you can see, I have all my styles are already set up, and I'm using the global setting, so I'm not manually overriding anything. So this way, if I have to update colors and fonts later, everything here will update as well. So I hope that makes sense, and I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos.